Welcome to 108 Gate. We started the reading and then there was masses of overwhelm. Asthma kicked off and nose was starting to dribble. It's just like, what's happening? So it's like catching up with self. So I was talking about, in the first version of this, the alignment that's here. So we have Sun in Sagittarius, 15. We have Mars in Sagittarius, and that's at 9 degrees. So they're not far away from each other. And the orb isn't as strong as it should be, could be, but it isn't small either. Because also we have True Node, 23 or Aries, and Chiron, 15 Aries retrograde. There's the reason this fire feels really powerful is because we still have that Jupiter 6 degrees Taurus retrograde and Uranus 20 degrees retrograde. So we have all of this solid Taurus energy being pulled, while we also have quite a substantial, significant fire energy moving forward and wanting to progress. As well as that, the Chiron in retrograde, it does feel like it's focusing more and more so from this pulling and pulling. It's exposing those wounds that haven't been healed or finally have healed and need to be let go of. So it is a very productive vibe. It's just a matter of navigating it. So we've got optimism, making sure that we're being realistically optimistic, making sure we're devoting ourselves to things in a realistic and sustainable manner, so not overextending ourselves, not underplaying ourselves on some level. So they're accepting exactly who we are and what stage we're at, and as truthful as we possibly can be around this. If we are having goals that are obtainable and realistic, and we have the resources coming in, that's fantastic, and then we can kind of build on that as we see the momentum going forward. If we have goals that are totally unrealistic and a bit la landish, kind of would like to do it but it's just not feasible, it's not possible because we haven't got certain things in place, there's a greater chance of kind of tripping up right now. So being careful of that and being careful with that. That also may have a lot to do with those wounds that have not been healed yet, that may be ready to heal, maybe ready to emerge and be shown and revealing themselves. So we have also the moon. Literally when I started it was at 7 degrees Libra, now it's at 8 degrees Libra. So 8 degrees Libra, illuminating the emotional aspects of in the home, in long-term relationships, long-term things that we are going through. So the emotions that are coming in there, hence again that power behind the unfulfilled dreams or wishes, the wounds that are still lingering and need to be healed and cleansed and purified. Again, taking a very gentle, compassionate approach to these. On some level, it feels like there's energies of I don't have enough time, I need to hurry up. And then in the counteracting space of that, it feels more so that it needs to be a bit of a compassionate feeling towards it, of like, I will do it at the correct time, in the correct manner, which suits myself because of the way it is. It's not going to be some mamby-pamby kind of like just like complaining kind of energy. It's gonna go deep. If you're doing the work and you really want to go down to those rabbit holes that you know that you can dig yourself out of, that there's a quick way of coming out, if that makes sense. Have your tools ready before you go in. Like I said, those of you who want to do this work, it's not a ghost ride, should we say? Like if you're going a ghost ride in a fun fair or something like that, you know it's not real. It's all been set up. It's all been a false kind of experience to be had. This is significantly real on some level, because these things could be possibly some of the things you're holding in your cellular memory. So if you have reoccurring injuries, if you have reoccurring things that are happening, making sure that we're taking care of ourselves, because those things are the ones that might get knocked. It might be susceptible to, if it's an injury, that it gets injured again or something like that. I'm not sure what. Well, we've got Venus, I think, in Virgo. Let's just check. Venus is in Scorpio. Okay, so that makes sense as to why that was coming up. So Venus was in Scorpio, just making sure that we're aware that not to make too many physical changes to ourselves. It may be, like I said before, there's no point in making any superficial changes. It's not in retrograde, but the nature in which it's in Scorpio at the moment, it's like deep diving into that blue lagoon, not the blue lagoon, the gloomy murky lagoon, but it's actually accepting self for your flaws, accepting self for who you are, accepting self for your choices. From there, where do you want to be going? Do you want to be running more? Do you want to be healthier? Do you want to be putting on weight? Do you want to be is there a certain organ of your body or aspect of your body that you're feeling uncomfortable with? Bringing more self-acceptance to that, bringing some more compassion to that, seeing that there's limitations of where you can make certain changes, and there's certain limitations that don't need to be there, and you're just placing them on yourself, or someone else has placed them on you. So in the physical aspect, really supporting those shifts and changes we can do for our physical well-being. That's a very, very strong energy. So for example, if you have certain things that you're not doing and you want to be doing, how can you start implementing them? How can you start thinking about implementing them? You want to do, I don't know, 5k or whatever it is. It could be just that you're eating differently, or you're drinking more water, or you're drinking more herbal teas, you're hydrating yourself. What is it that those things are that you need to change or want to change? So you've got 7 of Cups here. 7 of Cups usually coming up as multiple options. Some options are usually more liably and viably possible and able to happen, whereas usually there's some options in there that are just not kind of suitable for yourself. So finding out which ones are suitable and which ones are not suitable, or it might even be a time sensitive thing that's right now you can't do certain things, but if you do A, B and C, you'll be more able to do it. And the clarity coming in from this is bringing in some empowerment, because as you are accepting yourself for who you are, not for who so-and-so is across the road, and not who so-and-so is at this class or whatever it is. It's like you accepting yourself for who you are in your capacity, in your field, in your realm, in your situation, in your circumstances, honouring you purely as much as you can for who you are in your situation, in your context. I know I'm repeating that, but it's really important. Therefore, you have more of a realistic, optimistic opportunity to get the clarity in of, here I am, here I'm aiming, how possible is this, what do I need to do this, how ready am I, how much have I trained up, how much training do I need to do, what have I shifted out, what have I cleared out from my space, what do I need to be clearing out from my space, what needs to be happening. And remembering that this may not be just a short term one day applying yourself and then it's done. This may be a long-term goal, especially because we've got some of the alignments featuring in long-term movement, long-term planning ahead. So it's a 5-year plan, a 10-year plan, a retirement plan, or whatever it is, making sure that those steps forward are looking easier and easier. 4 of Swords. So in this clarity, understanding where you may have extended yourself beyond your capacity. So therefore bringing itself back in, just forgiving yourself for it, accepting that, okay, I may have overextended. Now I need to come back, retreat from there. And I know sometimes people say that the 4 of Swords comes in as a battle, coming back from battle and then resting. But this could actually be a battle from within yourself. You've been fighting yourself on some level, or allowing others to bring up an internal conflict within yourself, letting that internal conflict be resolved, letting that internal conflict be shown and rectified. Therefore, again, coming back to the devotion to your pure self, your higher self, bringing in the realistic optimism and self-acceptance being a part of the key for this moving forward, for this moving in the correct direction. There we go. And we've got some Knight of Cups energy coming in. Beautiful support with that. Beautiful elegance is coming in, to be honest. It's feeling very masculine supported in the feminine area. So there is that practical application of the emotions. It's not just about sitting there and digressing and dissecting everything over and over again. It's like acknowledging something becomes known, and now apply a shift and change in your emotional response. Someone says something and you're taking it personally. Next time someone says something in that same manner, in that same tone, with the same words, I'm going to respond with not taking it personally. I'm going to respond with a witty, sweet, calm, loving, compassionate response to that, so that just to let them know that that's my boundary and you're crossing it. Finding creative ways of seeing things and applying yourself to those new emotional states of being. So we've got the Eight of Swords here. Eight of Swords bringing in that thing of where you've kept yourself stuck. So what I mean by that is, especially as it's following from the Knight of Cups, you may have had certain people bring up certain things, have certain conversations, get certain responses, and you've taken it personally. But this time it's about shifting those things, that when it hasn't worked out in favour for you, to shift it that it works out in favour for you. But the thing that may have been holding you back before was things like, oh, I can't speak to so-and-so in that way, just don't answer back, keep quiet, keep out of the way, and just don't let it be known, don't let it be said. Kind of like, don't speak to your, kind of like respecting your elders, but kind of it's not in a way. It hasn't evolved. It needs to evolve. It needs to shift and change. So you can still have the conversation with elders, for example, in a way that's gentle and in more of a curiosity kind of thing. And like when you were younger, how did you do this, and how was it with this and that and the other, rather than going into it with a combative energy. So I'm not saying that is the exact example. I'm saying that is an example of how you could approach something differently. So if you go into combat with someone verbally or emotionally or energetically, when you approach certain subjects again and again, maybe going in with a different strategy, maybe going in with a different way of seeing things and being, then the world starts shifting. Because then if you respond and you're transmitting a different energy out, you're going to have different things come back to you if they are capable of it. Like I said, we don't always see the feedback that we're expecting, and that's part of it. Like if we're expecting a certain feedback, well, I've put the effort in and changed. Why can't you? That's setting yourself up for expectations and things like that. That's simply really realistic optimism, is saying that I'm changing how I'm looking at it. I'm changing how I'm approaching it. So let's see now how that person responds, without the expectation of them responding in a particular way, without the expectation of, well, if I give you this and you have to now be polite to me too. It doesn't work that way. So just don't expect it to, and don't hope for it to. Therefore, you won't get disappointed. And instead of getting frustrated and locked and stuck in the navigating how to change someone, which you can't, it's more to do with, I tried, I didn't conquer, I'm moving on. If you come back with a different space, a different stance, and someone responds in kind, and they're just like, you know what, I can, not even consciously, subconsciously, they might sense that something's different here. I can see someone's putting an effort in. Therefore, automatically, the response is they respond in a more favourable manner. Then go with that. If it doesn't happen, you're getting your answers clearer and clearer and clearer. Just being more aware of it. 7 of Coins. So the 7 of Coins is feeling a bit muddled. There's a lot going to be shifting. I'm not even going to go much into that, because basically with the Seven of Coins, it's feeling like you're having lots of shifts happening as the swords are being shifted, as you're seeing what's your responsibility and what you can shift and change. There's going to be evidence of like what can be shifted and changed, what's actually of no value. You held value onto it. I need to make sure this works. What is the purpose? Are you needing to make sure this works because you are trying to fulfill something, you have something to prove, because you are just stubborn? Or is it because you really feel like your heart feels like this has got to work, it's going to work, it's going to work? Are you being realistic with yourself? Are you accepting the best for yourself, or are you compromising? If you're compromising, I think you already know what you got to do. Should we get one for here? Let's get one for here too. There we go. Page 1, stepping forward in a new way, stepping forward in a new light. We're getting a lot of this page energy of new emotions to something, new emotional approaches, new physical approaches, because we're going through a significant shift and change. If one thing changes, it's going to be likely that other things start shifting and changing too. Hence, it makes a lot of sense that we're having a lot of pages coming in and having initiated a lot of these shifts and changes. As more clarity comes in, as you rest, you're going to feel the on so many levels. I think more readings will be coming around this about how these shifts and changes will be happening, especially as we're getting so much stuff shifting and changing. I feel like putting my laptop, but just the spread of the planets and that right now is actually quite nice, because usually it's all bunched up, but it's actually quite there's quite a few houses that have got something in it. It's not really about that, it's just the configurations are quite creative, and they're quite they're like multi-leveled, layered. Anyway, I'm going to go on and do the masculine reading now, and like I said, there's the monthly readings up for you, and see you in a bit. Masculine reading coming soon. Peace and love.